Well, good evening. I'm Robert A. Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom. And Happy New Year to everybody. I took last week off, and I expanded of how we use anger to hold us back. And actually, anger shows us our limitations. And that is where life begins. We try to live in the expectations of being perfect all the time. And then we get mad because it doesn't happen that way. So you want to open up. It isn't the anger that is the deal. It's the unwillingness to admit we don't know, and we're at the end of our rope, and we're at the end of everything we know. And the next step out there is admitting that we don't know. And we've never been there before. And it's an understanding that we do have the grandeur within us to expand. But we're afraid of life. We're afraid of the darkness within ourselves. So as we open up to understand, it isn't the darkness we have, it's the illumination of the darkness we can expand through. Because we all get caught up in trying to be perfect. And anger is bad, darkness is bad, negativity. Actually, negativity is your spirit showing you the limitations and where you're stopped in life and where you're stalled out in enjoying life. So as I opened up to this, I started understanding that it isn't the anger that I'm afraid of, it's the fear of admitting I don't know and I don't have the instant answer for anything. I'm afraid to go through the event to expand my visionary enthusiasm, naturally trend-setting into new within myself. As I now realize what and how I think and know messes up my life, went away today opens my newfound understanding. My darkness naturally matures me every day as I now realize and admit thinking is from memory. Expanding occurs from listening to the Earth's enterprising airways. As I now realize I tried to know my negativity, tried to fix myself through my instilled pessimism, allowed my negative nervousness to run my day-to-day life, because I now realize my memorized habits were and are controlling governances of my self-taught stuff, created my overthinking pertaining to my life had to be hard because I taught myself from my circle of influences and habitual worry. And that all went away today, instantly cleared my seer savvy to realize I query the fury of my self-inflicted pain, opening poise, acumen, innovation now, because I now realize the wizardry of my dreams is to see my accomplished outcomes on my third eye movie screen, feel the robust results, internally feel the elegant energy of my desired life, thriving of lavish luxury now and forevermore. I relish and embellish my voyage of bountiful bliss that kisses me through my newly discovered dreamer's flare, feeling loved as I now realize I was unwilling to hear the championing wisdom of my anger, hate, envy, and all numbing down narcissism I allowed to control my life. And that's what we do, is allow anger to control our life. Until now, as I realize the instant I listen to the hidden haunts of my darkness, that daylight's amazing, revolutionary, intuitive innovations, I hear the animated acumen of my dreams and moneyed up accomplished outcomes. As I open up to understand, we let the darkness of our lives and the negativity of society control our lives because we're afraid to go beyond that, because we actually live in the limitations of ourselves. Everything out there is for us, but we allow that to control us rather than expand us. But how does anger fissure my stranglehold on what I know in my selfish ways? How is anger actually a selfishness and a fear to go beyond down into that new frontier of debonair flair that is waiting for us? But we become really locked and blocked in what we know. We have to know before we go. Look at the world today. We're still living the same way, the same everything as our ancestors. Only thing, we got technology and modern medicine. But do we really have anything new in our innovative wit? for the world to expand of their grit, get, and go. So as I open myself to understand, every time I get mad and I do something, I feel sorry, rather than listening to the anger, because the anger was telling me I was at the end of my rope, but I was at the end of my knowing. And I was afraid to go into the understanding of the new event that was occurring in front of me. Also, anger is afraid to admit that somebody may know something I didn't. And that is a fact there. I used to get angry doing that. It's really easy now to admit that it's not the knowing, but it's the willingness to hear what other people have to say without being angry, frustrated, mad at them, and realizing that life is going to expand me through anger, frustration, envy, adversity, controversy, opening up the versatility of life. How are we afraid to be versatile within ourselves with a visionary epiphany, realizing astute tenacity to rev up our own inner wisdom and inner wealth, health, and all the goodness in ourselves? Because to walk beyond what we know is a scary, scary thought to an egotistical, arrogant, ignorant mind. And actually, our minds are very ignorant and arrogant, because we have to know, and we are the best, and everybody else isn't in my category, and that's never true. Every man, I read this in a book called How to Win the Game of Life by Florence Scovel Shinn. No man is my enemy. No man is my friend. Every man is my teacher. But it's every spiritual energy is my teacher. And we're all spiritual energy with the savvy to participate internally, realizing intuitive, trend-setting, utopian, acumen, loving life. Because we are spiritual. And anger and frustration is a human haunt. The spirit is never afraid to go into the unknown of the terror incarnata, intuitive wisdom that's within all of us. But our arrogance is afraid to get out of what we know, because we got to look good in everybody's eyes but mine. And that is a true statement for me to admit that to the world. Once I opened up to this admitting and getting rid of things, it becomes easier. And then I've become more open to life than ever time in history. But how is it that we allow anger to control us rather than expand us? How is the negativity of life keeping us locked and blocked? Because we're afraid to admit we encompass it. And how are we afraid to admit the world is run on negativity, pessimism, and narcissism, rather than optimism and opulence and omnificence, which is the most powerful creation in the world? But how are we so stuck in the muck of yesterday that we're afraid to walk beyond the yawn of life? Because life is going to teach us when we listen. Life is going to punish us when we think we know. Because nobody knows. Everybody understands, but the anger of life is a new wave of wisdom for everybody to play. And as I opened up to this, and I just opened up to this, this week actually, anger, envy, all that is a jealousy and a fear and being scared of everything to admit there's more out there than I understand in my human mind. So when you unbind the mind and unwind the divine, you daringly invigorate visionary intuition naturally expanded through life. That's what we do when we stop thinking we know. And anger is nothing more than our belief system and unwillingness to admit that we have outgrown some of the things, most of everything that inside us. And something I've really expanded of, every belief you have today is outdated today. Everything in life is new every second of every day. It's a naturally expanding wisdom. Our naturally energized willpower to move your life forward in enjoy it. But as I clear the waves of wisdom and all the muck and yuck inside me, I open up to really expand of that. All my negativity is me trying to hold on to yesterday. That's all anger and frustration and all that is an unwillingness to let go of yesterday and everything we know, and we have to have everything in a perfect order. There is no perfect order. The only order there is natural expanding wisdom within us. Because life is about liberating eternal freedom every day. And when you can open up to hear that and listen to it, feel it, see it, and emotionalize it with a winner's wise, you move forward in life. But we're so afraid of yesterday that we live it today. And how are you still reliving the anger of your high school years today? I know I am. I still do. Because I never listened to the anger to get the wisdom of the anger. All anger is a selfish unwillingness to move beyond. It's all about me. And that's when I started realizing life is about what I energize in the world, and the world will energize my life with whatever I desire to experience. But the more I stayed in the anger and the frustration and the meanness of life, the more cruel life was to me. I now realize that, and I admit that to the world. But admitting it is easy. Expanding through it is a purity of poise within myself to allow the noise of my narcissism to die away and open out my display of dreamers' intuition, sensing, powerful, lively, astute jazz to play my pizzazz to the world. And I now admit that I allowed my childhood, everything in my life to paralyze me because I wasn't like this other person. Well, but that other person was never like me either. So we're equal. And how many people do you want to be like, wish they was like you? So as I open up to realize I am unique and I am an individual with spiritual prowess to expand the world. And spiritual don't mean some fantasy thing. Spiritual means to me it's unattached to the human way of life and allows me to free my inspirations and express my enterprising energies to the world. And the world is an energy. And when I can disconnect all the frustration I caused myself by trying to make people like me or be like them, I unblemish my life. Because trying to be like somebody or thinking they should be like you is a blemish of BS we all encompass. Because we taught ourselves that through society's way of controlling us. That's the school system, the government, everything. So when you can unhook the books, unhook the plow of disallow, open that out to avow the astute, visionary, omnific wisdom within yourself. And that is a powerful thing when you can allow society to do its thing, as you sing of your spiritual supremacy, showing yourself your savvy, innovative wit to invigorate your life with the wisdom and the talent within you. Because your wisdom, talent, and innovation and all the stuff you encompass that the world has never seen is what the world is begging people for today to expand us out of what we've taught ourselves and what history has taught us. It's time for the people of the world to stop living history that we're taught in school, thinking war, pillage, and plunder is the way, when communication and candor are the way forward. People are more afraid of communicating than they are of war. Because communication opens up something inside you that you never understood was there, because somebody is going to say something that's going to make something inside you query yourself. When you query the fury, you free the unlimited resolve, guessing I'm a blessing to the world. And that is something that really opens you up. But when you can understand the negativity and the darkness within you, your childhood and all the stuff you think you did wrong was just opening the roads of riches for you to travel. Well, we beat ourselves up with it because we were taught to do that, and we taught ourselves to beat ourselves up. And just berate ourselves because we never thought we was good enough. And we've always been excellent entrepreneurs to experience our divine way of life. So as I open this to myself, I free myself. And I talk and write in first person because only one I can say anything about is me, and the one I want to release and have fun and let my fun flow is me. I want to sit on my beaches of bliss, kissing the world good day, because I'm here to play my way. And that is what the world is all about. If everybody opens up to their own wisdom and expresses it and gets that one song, book, whatever we have inside us out to the world, how much better will the world be? Because you'll want to remember this. The books in the school system are written by what the powers to be want you to know, live by, and be ingrained by, and brainwashed by. So when you get rid of the brainwashing of society and the system and the banker's way of life, who's going to thrive and be alive within themselves? Me and you. And something else I really going to express. Stop putting yourself second. Don't write you and me. Start writing me and you in personal growth. Because we have taught to put ourselves second and everybody else before us because of you and me. Or the first name and I and the other person. You know what? Political correctness is to control us. Outlaw optimism is to release us and really expand of who we are internally. And the power of the world is about ourselves. We are the leaders of our life, and that is where we have to lionize everyday adventures, daring, epitomizing resolve, seeing ourselves sitting on our mountains of money, overlooking our oceans of opulence in a healthy, wealthy way. Because the system is set up to control us. And our spirits are set up to allow us to be free with a sovereign sass and a class to show the world the way life is to be experienced and never lived. Because we're all a very astute people. But we're astute adventurers and savvy entrepreneurs to experience life. We've been taught to be corporate clones rather than frontier enterprising entrepreneurs because it's easier to control people with a paycheck than allow people to expand forward. And I'm just admitting, and I still, paychecks is something I still work for. I'm still a union electrician, but I really enjoy being out here doing this because it's about the expansion of people, and you don't have to, you can expand upward as you move forward. And I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank Kathy, Shaman, Linda, and everybody else, and whoever else listens to this, and may your life be blessed because you're a blessing to me and the world. And I am Robert A. Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom. I am a hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner, timeline coach, and everything I speak on here and everything I write is something I've expanded through myself. And I never talk about what you can do. I show you the way to your inner wisdom to allow yourself to be free. I want to thank everybody and say good night. My website is mycowboywisdom.com. My books are at howdiditeachmyselffear.com and at amazon.com/author/Robert A. Wilson. We'll see you Thursday night. And good night.